reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Again he began to teach beside the lake. Such a very large crowd gathered around him that he got into a boat on the lake and sat there, while the whole crowd was beside the lake on the land. He began to teach them many things in parables, and in his teaching he also said, "The kingdom of God is as if someone would scatter seed on the ground, and would sleep and rise night and day, and the seed would sprout and grow. He does not know how. The earth produces of itself first the stalk, then the head, then the full grain in the head. But when the grain is ripe, at once he goes in with the sickle, because the harvest has come." The Gospel of the Lord. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to you, to those who are joining us on the internet via YouTube, to those listening on the radio, and a particularly warm welcome to our young people from Great Command School. It's great to see the young with us every day at this time. Well, tomorrow, as you know, is the feast day of St. Gerard. It's the last day of the Novena. And tomorrow, at all sessions of the Novena, we will bless any objects of faith or devotion that you may have acquired during the week. So if you bring those tomorrow, pious objects we once used to call them, if you bring them tomorrow, we will bless them at all sessions of the Novena. The Redemptorists here in Dundalk have launched a new website. The address is www.redemptoristdundalk.ie. Redemptorists Dundalk. And it's all one phrase, and it's all lowercase. And certainly we encourage you to check it out. Probably saw Paul and his stall there from Redemptorist Communications as you were coming in. Redemptorist Communications is a small little publishing company that we have. It publishes reality 10 times a year. It publishes other booklets, St. Gerard book, the Mission book, as well as many other products as well. There are two things on special offer out there I'd just like to let you know about them. There is a pack of 12 assorted Christmas cards, and Paul tells me they're selling for €5. I know Christmas is still a while away, but there are good cards there at €5. And also there is a calendar for 2016. Now, you probably know already that next year marks the 150th anniversary of the Redemptorists being entrusted with the icon of Our Lady of Perpetual Help. Both at the time gave it to us and asked us to make her known across the world. So next year, you'll be hearing a lot about it, we have special celebrations going on for the 150th anniversary. So this calendar for 2016 has different icons or different images of the icon of Our Lady for each of the months. And it costs €3. Now, I looked through it. There's only one Redemptorist photographed in it. And would you know, it's Michael Cusack. What can you expect? So he's Father Clever, by the way. You'll find him in there as Father Clever. If you are a fan of your parish priest, Father Brendan, you're going to be disappointed. He's not in it. Only Michael Cusack. It costs €3. Now, anything that you buy from Redemptorist Communications helps us in our ministry of making Mary known, but also in our preaching ministry as well. So you're supporting our work if you buy these things. And you can take a look on the side. Here's a question that I'm sure you never thought of. Who taught Vivaldi to play the violin? Someone did it. I don't know who that person was, but one day, when he was just a little kid, somebody handed him a violin and said, "Antonino, you put the violin under your chin like this, you take the bow, and you do that." And the world of music changed forever. But who was it that taught Michelangelo to sculpt? I don't know, but someone did. Again, probably as a little boy, somebody handed him a block of marble and a chisel and a hammer and said, "Angelino, you take the chisel to the marble and you hit it like that." And the world of art changed forever. And who was it that taught Albert Einstein his 2 times someone did. One day someone said, Albert, 2 plus 2 equals 4, do you get it? And he got it. And our understanding of the universe was never the same again. Now, there are a lot of young people here today, but there are some of us of my generation and older, and you probably remember a character in Russia called Boris Yeltsin. Boris Yeltsin was the first president of Russia after the collapse of the Soviet Union. He was president there about 20 years ago, from 1991 to 1999. And it was a rocky time for him as president because the communists tried a number of times to get back the old Soviet Union, but he resisted them with great courage. And he was once asked, who has inspired you to act with such courage? And he said the man that inspired him was called Lech Walesa. I have to go back a little bit further in time to the 1980s, to Poland when it was occupied by the communists. Lech Walesa was a trade union leader in the shipyards in Gdansk, if you recall, and he was part of the group that founded the Solidarity movement that eventually led to the fall of communism in Poland. He became president of Free Poland and was president from 1990 to 1995. And in his time, he was asked, who was it that inspired you? And he said, Martin Luther King. To go back to the 60s. Martin Luther King was a civil rights activist, the leader of the African American civil rights movement in the United States in the 60s, and he was, as you know, assassinated in 1968. He, in his day, was asked, who is it that inspired you? And he said, Rosa Parks. Rosa who? Rosa Parks. Well, now you have to go back to the 50s. In the state of Alabama, in the city of Montgomery, the bus system that operated was based on racial lines. It practiced apartheid. If you were a white person, you got in front of the bus and you could sit in the front part of the bus. If you were a black person, you paid the driver at the front and then you had to walk to the back and get in the back door and sit in the back part of the bus. Now, if all of the seats allocated for whites were full, and another white person got on, then a black person would have to get up and give their seat to that white person and go and stand at the back of the bus. It was the law. Well, on the 1st of December 1955, this lady, Rosa Parks, was travelling on one of these buses, and the white section was full. A white man got on and went to where she was seated and said, that's my seat, please get up. And she refused. So they threatened her with the police were called, she was arrested and eventually taken to court. And she was fined $10. Now back then $10 was probably a sizable amount of money, but not an impossible amount of money. But she refused to pay the fine and she was sent to prison. Well, the black population of Montgomery boycotted the bus company. They refused to use the buses for 381 days. Eventually, faced with financial ruin, the bus company backed down and abandoned its apartheid rules, and Rosa Parks was freed from jail. Could she ever have imagined that on that wet, cold December evening, as she refused to give up her seat to this man, that she was setting in motion a train of events that could arguably be said to have brought about the fall of the Soviet Union? You see, seeds are like that. You sow a seed and it grows secretly, quietly. It grows into something else. In today's parable, Jesus is saying that the seeds we grow, the small things that we do, secretly have a profound effect on the people and on the world around us. So who was it that taught Gerard to play the violin? I don't know. Or who was it that taught Michelangelo to sculpt? I don't know. And who was Albert Einstein's maths teacher? I haven't a clue, but I am eternally grateful that these people sowed those seeds. Who are the people that God has chosen to plant seeds in you? My answer to that question would be a mother long since gone to God, who taught me by her constant gentleness and by her kindness to the poor. My answer would be a recently deceased father who sacrificed everything for me and for my family. I would say brothers and sisters who, in their married lives, have shown me what God's love is like. I would say a friend who, in terrible illness and suffering, kept faith alive. I would answer redemptorist confreres whose courage and faith has inspired me to try to live with the values of St. Alphonsus and of Jesus. Who seeded you? Who made you who you are? Who put value and meaning and grace into your life? Somebody did, and you know who they are. And the harvest is your presence here this afternoon. And who are the people that you are seeding? Whom are you quietly, effectively, gently raising up to be sensitive, open-hearted people? I don't know what you know. And you know that if you continue to do this seeding with God and for God, you will have an upper harvest. God sowed good seed in St. Gerard. He sowed in him gentle compassion, which bore the fruit of deep kindness. God sowed in him courage, which bore the fruit of a determination to face all the challenges of his short life. God sowed in him the seed of faith, which bore the fruit of deep joy. And now Gerard sows seeds in us, in God's name. And that's why we continue to honour him year after year, as we have done over these past 8 days. So this afternoon, let us ask Gerard to pray that the seeds God sows in us and that we sow in others may produce a bumper harvest. Faithful, courageous, compassionate, joyful disciples, following along the path of life in the footsteps of Jesus Christ.